On this episode of Lapeef, let's talk.
Positive, then stay off of that dog. He off limits. Some people is above it. You keep MLK name out your mouth. If you ain't got nothing positive to say, that's my personal opinion.
I can understand where Anton is coming from, just because I feel like we are too comfortable critiquing people whose lives we don't either contribute to, we don't have no responsibility for them. Like, it's too much of a norm.
We need to sit down this Thursday show. This is what we do every Thursday show. We're critical about people that we have.
We ain't talking about dead people though.
But like you, I mean,
come on.
But I mean, people do it. People do it. So I wanted to be clear. I wasn't defending Lee Simone, but I can understand where she was coming from.
It was going to talk about was his reality of being his perception of being the great leader, a great father, a great husband, all that stuff, to the reality that he cheated with his wife. Why we just can't acknowledge that? Guess what? He was a great man. But like you said, every great man got flaws. We cannot be critical on the great man flaw. Just like Umar Johnson. You say he does great things, but you also be critical of his flaws.
I didn't say he do great things. Let's be clear. That's not what I said.
You said you praise him for the greatness that he do.
No, I said that I agree with him on some of the points that he make, and then others I disagree. So I'm objective in my analysis of the things that he's saying.
This is what's wrong with the black community. When we never can be critical of each other, how can we expect to grow?
Okay, go ahead. Throw Martin Luther King under the... Listen, Martin Luther King, welcome to the dumpster. We throwing you in there too.
No,
y'all find me some leaders that make sense, that y'all can align with, and y'all let me know how that works out.
So you want to exaggerate. Nobody is diminishing.
I am on my feelings about this because you know what? Honestly, for me, it's some people that's untouchable. And that's just my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. For me, there are some people that are untouchable. He is one of them.
Well, you know what? That's a flaw in your argument, because that means you're not balanced. That means we should never listen to what you say because you're not balanced across the board. Yes, that means if somebody like Martin Luther King is untouchable, and just because you call out his flaw doesn't mean you're degrading what he did good.
You're calling out something that you know not of.
What y'all saw in that clip that was degraded, all they said is this: based on him cheating, he was not the husband we perceived him to be. They did not degrade him from being
and she wasn't even born when he was in the movement.
And guess what, Anton? You don't know nothing about the movement but what you read.
God, this is insane. I can't believe that people are defending B. Simone and what she said.
It's not defending her. I think we've normalized one another so much so that like it's like you kind of don't bat your eye at it. Like it is what it is. It was a conversation point. Nobody really knows what took place. No one really knows what took place in that man's marriage.
How can you criticize a man that literally gave his life? He gave his life. That's insane to me. Bro, anybody in the military that died in combat, I will never go back and say anything negative about them. Not one. The only thing that I can say about them is that man gave his life so that I can have this conversation right now. This man gave his whole life knowing that he could die at any moment for y'all to be able to have this conversation right now. When y'all telling me that this man is not untouchable?
And I'm going to tell you this. One of my homeboys got killed in Iraq. Sergeant Toy. A mortar came into his paladin and blew him up, right? Lord, a man to death. But guess what? This is crazy that this point is even made, right? And you can look it up. Sergeant Toy from 217 Field Artillery got killed in Mosul, Iraq, right? But you know, we get together, we start talking about shit that happened in Korea and when we was in Iraq. This is crazy because I said military men cheat. And then Son Toy, he got a lot of chicks. Son Toy is married, right? We're joking saying, hey, man, you remember Son Toy goddamn fuck that chick in the back of the DFAT?
That's different, bro.
No. Listen what I'm saying. Just because we're stating a fact, right? Does that diminish that Toy was a great soldier? Does that diminish the fact that he died for his country? It don't. But see, when you start trying to police
him,
I'm just saying,
you
when
had a personal relationship with him.
No, what's my relationship?
You had a personal relationship with that man.
Listen what I'm saying. My point I'm making, Anton, is this. My best friends that I fuck with, you've seen a lot of them on this panel. I'm critical of the shit they do. They're critical of the shit I do.
And if they died tomorrow, would you still be critical of the stuff that they did?
But it'll be like, yes, I would. Just because I'm critical of something that somebody do doesn't mean I diminished it.
Cool.
That I don't diminish their legacy.
I you know what? That's why I stay to myself. That's why I stay in my own zone. Because God, listen, if MLK can't rest in peace without people and he not be classified off limits, then I just agree to disagree. I'm a digress. I know I've spoken too much about this subject, and I'm stand down.
Last thing, I got one more question for you, Anton. So you saying this? I just want to know this. So you saying
nope?
Anybody? All right. So you saying that nobody can ever be critical about Martin Luther King infidelity? That's off limits to you.
Nobody should be critical of Martin Luther King in any way, shape, and form, including the possibility of him being or having infidelity. In my opinion, personally, and I'm not telling everybody else what to do, y'all got to keep Martin Luther King motherfucking name out y'all mouth. If y'all not saying something positive, then stay off of that dog. He off limits. Some people is above it. You keep MLK name out your mouth. If you ain't got nothing positive to say, that's my personal opinion.
I could understand where Anton is coming from, just because I feel like we are too comfortable critiquing people whose lives we don't either contribute to, we don't have no responsibility for them. Like, it's too much of a norm.
We need to sit down this Thursday show. This is what we do every Thursday show. We're critical about people that we have.
Hold on. We ain't talking about dead people though.
But like you, I mean,
come on.
But I mean, people do it. People do it. So I wanted to be clear. I wasn't defending Lee Simone, but I can understand where she was coming from.